Okay, so this video is our second rule of exponents, and here we're going to be multiplying when we have exponents. So the negative exponent rule we just talked about could incorporate itself into this one as these rules they build as we go through this unit. But this one now we're going to be multiplying. Okay, so the key idea that we want to look at is that we should only have one of each variable in a problem. So this example here, a squared, a to the ninth, is a no. We're not allowed to have that because we need to simplify this. There are two a's in this problem, and again, we're only allowed to have one. So to simplify it, it's actually really easy. We determine how many a's, it's called the base, how many of that base there are. So a squared is really a times a, and then a to the ninth is a 9 times. So if we look here, we have 2 and then 9. Total, we have 11. So what we've done is we have added the exponents together. That's the key here. And the final answer we would have on this really simple problem is a to the 11th. Okay? So again, key idea is that we are adding exponents together when they have the same base. That means the same variable. Okay? We're going to jump in. We're going to start doing some easy examples. Now, these two easy examples, they already have the same base. That's the only base in the problem. This first one, we have b's. Well, really, I have 6 b's, and I have 2 more. There's the 6, there's the 2. Together, okay, I have 6 plus 2. I've added my exponents. I have b to the 8th, and that's it. Okay, now I do not need to see this step here unless you want to show it to me. You want to see how it's working. Because I know that you can add 6 and 2 and you can get 8. And if you can't do that, you have a calculator. So I just need to know the answer for this one. On this one, I'm not going to write it all out. I know that I have 8 x's here, and I'm going to add 10 x's to it. That gives me 18. So my answer is x to the 18th. Okay. We're going to move on. We're going to do some medium examples. Notice on these, I have more variables in the problem. Okay? All of this is being multiplied together here on this one. And I'm going to combine the things that are the same. So I have a's and a's. Well, 4 plus 2 is 6. So I'm going to have a to the 6th. I have b's. I have 3 and 5, which is 8. Put this down here. 4 plus 2 was my 6. 3 plus 5 was my 8. And then my c's, I have 7 plus 1. I also have 8. And there's my answer. A to the 6th, b to the 8th, c to the 8th. Okay? Over here, this is the same thing. The fact that it's parentheses is just telling you that it's multiplication. It's this times this. But I'm not changing anything. I'm still doing the same type of problem. I'm going to add the exponents from the things that are the same. Well, 3 plus 5 is 8, so I have a to the 8th. That b doesn't have anything to go with, so it's just going to stay b squared. I'm not putting anything else with it. It just drops down as itself. And then my c's here, I have a 5 and a 2, so c to the 7th. And there's my answer. Okay. Again, what makes this medium example is that I have multiple variables. And typically, the problems you're going to see are going to have multiple variables in them. You're going to see things that look like this. Okay? I've got another medium example type, and if you notice, I have multiple variables here again. Okay? Multiple variables. But I also have negative exponents. Okay? So we're bringing in that idea from the last set of problems. I'm going to do the same thing I was doing before. I'm going to identify things that have the same base, the same variable. I'm going to add their exponents together. So here I'm going to do negative 5 plus 6, which is 1. I have x to the first. Now I have my y's. Okay, I have 3 plus a negative 4. Well, that's really y to the negative first. Remember from the last video, we are not allowed to have negative exponents. So we're going to have to do something else to this problem. My z doesn't have anything to pair with, so I just have z to the 9th. So currently what I have is x to the first, y to the negative first, z to the 9th. Now, if you think back to the last video, no negative exponents are allowed, and this is in the numerator. So since it's in the numerator and the negative exponent, it's going to drop to the denominator. And there is my final answer. X to the first, z to the ninth over y to the first. Now, you don't have to put in those ones, that one here and that one here. If we just have a variable, it's understood to have an exponent of 1. But you can leave it in there. I think it's going to help you guys, if your exponent is a 1, to leave it in the problem. Okay, let's look at the next one here. Same idea. Okay, we're going to combine, add together the exponents of the things that are the same. So we have a 5 plus 1, that's an x to the 6th. My y's, I have a negative 8 plus 2. Well, that's a negative 6. Again, negative exponent's going to have to move, so we're not quite finished with this one. We're done adding these together. Our z's, we have negative 2 plus 6, which is 4. Okay. Again, that negative exponent's going to have to move to the denominator. My positive ones stay where they are, so x to the 6th, z to the 4th in the numerator, y to the 6th in the denominator. Okay? So again, medium examples because we have multiple variables, but we've added in a new level here when we have negative exponents that you may have to take care of, another step into those problems. We're going to finish these with what I call hard examples. Now, why they're hard is because they have coefficients. And it's really easy to add exponents, but really the overall idea here is that we are multiplying these things together. So when we have coefficients, like we do in this example, the 3 and the 4, we have to multiply them together. 3 times 4 is 12. And that's what we start with. That's our coefficient. Then we go through and we combine exponents like we normally would. Well, x squared, x to the 3rd, 2 plus 3 would be 5. My y's here. 3 plus 8 is 11. That z doesn't have anything to pair with. None of those have negative exponents, so we're good. None of them have to move. That one is finished. Our next example here, we're going to start with multiplying our coefficients together. Well, negative 7 times 4 is negative 28. Then we're going to combine our a's. That's negative 2 plus 9. That's a to the 7th. Our b's, negative 3 plus negative 2, b to the negative 5th. We're going to have to do something with that. Our c's here, 8 plus negative 4, so c to the 4th. Now again, our b here, negative exponent, it's going to have to move to the denominator because it's currently in the numerator. What is not going to move is that negative 28. It's not moving because it's not an exponent. It's a coefficient. Okay, so we're going to keep the negative 28, a to the 7th, b to the, not b, c to the 4th, over b to the 5th because we moved that to the denominator. And there's our final answer. Okay, so that's our examples when we're multiplying exponents together. What we do, okay, when we're multiplying with the same base, you need to add the exponents because really what you're doing is you're telling me how many there are. Now remember, you're still not allowed to have negative exponents. So if that shows up in your problem, you need to move either from the numerator to the denominator or the denominator to the numerator. I'm going to add one more thing here. Remember to multiply coefficients. Okay, and that's really where I see the mistakes. Since we're adding exponents, lots of times people accidentally add their coefficients together. But remember, the big overall idea of the problem is multiplication, so we need to multiply the coefficients together. Okay. Now that we've learned those two ideas, you do have a homework assignment. It's a little different, so make sure you read through it on Schoology. But it does incorporate both of these ideas. Like we saw in these examples, the multiplying exponents can bring in the negative exponents with it. So just know that it's going to cover both of these ideas in one assignment. Remember to email me or post in the discussion board if you have any questions or concerns. Otherwise, good luck on your assignment.